Hey everyone, welcome back to Nerds Explain It All. My name is Nancy,
My name is Zach.
My name is Lance.
and today we're going to talk about Age of Ultron.
Avengers Assemble.
Nope.
Oh, wait, I can't say
no,
that.
I can't
Nope.
say
that.
No, you gotta cut it off. It makes for dramatic effect.
No, it doesn't. That was bullshit.
Wasn't that stupid? Like Avengers.
So I'm already sensing some really strong opinions. And
I have to say, since you
2
brought that
minutes.
up, I love going to. Okay, I went to a screening on Thursday night because they don't do midnight screenings anymore because people like it's all these wishy-washy hardcore fans are like, yeah, man, I love superheroes, but I'm not going to midnight show, man. I'm a grown up. I can't do that. So they
there is
compromise.
some truth to that, though.
It's true, but they compromise.
No, it's because we've grown up. Like that's
true.
the thing.
Well, some of us have.
Well, no, I have not grown up at all, and I stand by that. But I just also cannot justify going to see like a 3-hour film at midnight when I have shit I got to do in the morning.
That's true, and not everybody has control of their own schedule. I understand that, but
Right.
the great thing about going to these is the fan reactions, right?
Oh,
You know?
God.
So
I don't know.
Can't stop the signal.
in joke there, yes. But the at the end of the movie where he says Avengers, and then it cuts to credits, everybody was like, "Oh!" I'm like, "Really? Just 'cause you guys are losers, anyway." But anyway, please
Oh, yeah,
continue,
you can't be
Nancy.
insulting your own. That's not
That's
not
true.
going to get you anywhere.
That's true. I do know what the Infinity Gauntlet is, so I really can't judge anyone. So.
Right. Okay. So, like, how do we want to go about talking about this? I have like a 2-page document of my thoughts.
Let's Nancy, why don't you just go through your outline and we'll just chime in.
Okay. So, I think we should talk about first, since it was really obvious even before any of us saw this film, that souring relationship between Joss and Marvel.
Yes.
That press junket's like
more and
from
more has
another
come
dimension.
out. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Like,
Which is a shame because it's just like, I mean, I think it's safe to assume that we're all like Joss Whedon fans here, and I like his voice on things. I think he does teams like as well as anybody can, and I think his voice was good for something like this, and it was something that frankly, DC would kind of need. But hey, now that he's off the books,
available.
maybe you can. Yeah, I know, right?
I get
he
him
is
to
available. Yeah.
fire the Wonder Woman director again and then hire Josh Whedon to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Well, it's
you know
kind
what?
of like
Before
everyone keeps arguing like, well, whose fault? Who's at fault for the perceived failings of Ultron? Which honestly, like, probably both of them, and
Well,
it depends on whether you thought things failed to begin with.
it's weird
Like,
because it made a lot of money, and I think the general consensus of like the normal people is it's good. But before we jump into your 12-point plan there, Nancy, let's real quick.
Yeah.
What good, bad, mediocre? What did you think of Ultron? Like, if you had to give it a letter grade, what would you give it?
I'm going to read you something that says, I personally enjoyed Age of Ultron, but I'm not going to give it a rating because my feelings are too complex about it to distill down to a solitary number of significance.
Fair enough. You came prepared. Well done.
should-
So, Lance, what about you? What did you think?
It was what I expected. And that's, I mean,
Is that a
and
good
that's-
or bad thing?
It's a good thing. Some things. I mean, I have some negative opinions about it, all for sure. But
Yeah.
overall, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. It didn't offend me or anything. I liked it. It was just what I expected. I'm not like going to rave about it like it was the greatest thing ever though. It's not. It was
Nor
not.
should
It was
you.
not the first Avengers.
No.
It was not
Like-
that.
It wasn't even the first
And I-
Avenger.
And
Heyo!
I,
Get it?
and I think
Captain
that's
America
the
1, thank
biggest
you.
drawback of the film is that it was not the first one. Even though I was kind of expecting that, but I'll get into that later.
But at the same time, it kind of was, and we'll get into that later. But I'd probably
Okay.
give it like a B. It was a
Yeah.
solid superhero action movie. It was a solid superhero action movie.
That's actually a lot higher than I thought you would give it.
Oh no, I give it. I'm fair. I enjoyed it. Like it wasn't bad by any means. It's just Marvel has raised the bar so high because the first
right.
Avengers film was such a event.
Yeah.
It was like it was a modern day Star Wars, if you
Well,
will.
it was something we've never really seen before. We haven't
Right.
seen something on that grand of a scale with something like this.
And it came
before.
together so well.
Yes,
And I feel like
and all the hype helped it.
I feel like if the first Avengers movie had been more like this, it would not have been as special because it would have been like, oh, okay, that was fine. But since everything hit so well on the first one,
Agreed.
you can't replicate that, especially when, I mean, you already mentioned the problems with Joss Whedon and the studio, Nancy.
Yeah.
He had like a 3.5 hour first cut of this movie, which makes me say, why don't you read your script and time it out a little bit? before you film an extra hour plus of a. I mean, how many millions of dollars did that cost? Right?
I don't even really care.
So
My thing.
I feel like that affected the final product. Is what I'm saying. Like you look at this film and you see that like man,
I see what you mean.
there was more here, like the Thor subplot, and then there's so much.
Okay. I don't know. Actually, I don't think there was anything more to that. That's what I was gonna. That is my next bullet point.
Okay. Well, anyway, we all. I think we all.
We liked it.
We liked it. We didn't love it. Can we say that?
Yeah. I can say that.
Maybe Nancy
at
loved
this
it.
point in time, yes, but it may change the more I think about it.
So
I could tell that I was conflicted because I didn't immediately come out of the theater with like a clear feeling.
I would agree with that. That's probably why I gave it a B. I was like,
Yeah.
B, I guess. Like it didn't offend me in any way. Well, mostly, but I enjoyed it. And
Right.
what more can you really ask? I guess. I mean, do we have unfair expectations now? I don't know.
I say this to you all the time. We're spoiled.
You say that to me because I think Arrow sucks.
No,
which
I
it
say
does this season.
That's not. It doesn't suck. This
Although
season. It's not as good as the first two.
Last night's episode was actually pretty good.
No, but we're spoiled because we're getting so much things that we never got, in the past, and like we've gotten some good, and some bad, and the good is so good that it makes us be like, well, why can't everything be this good?
I'm spoiled because the Flash is awesome every week. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's not it. And of course you're generalizing the wrong thing as usual. So way to go.
That's what
Congratulations. But that's what it is. And like we're spoiled with the first, like, and with the first Avengers movie. That's further makes my point. We were spoiled with that one, and so and so now we get this one, and it's not that. Number one, number two, it's just it was all right, but like it's just kind of whatever. So we've been spoiled.
I mean, this is not the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Don't get us wrong. Okay, it's not Batman and Robin by far.
Yeah.
But it's not the Avengers. It's not Winter Soldier.
No.
So
again,
I think that's where
they
set
up
the highs
so
are so
things.
high.
Yeah. Like there were so many things in this film. I feel like individually, like in a vacuum, they're awesome. Like of course, Joss is a big character person, so you could definitely. You could tell this whole movie was that, but I think it kind of was poor for that, which is unfortunate because that's what Joss does really well. And I'm almost wondering if like it would have been better for him just to do the one-off, and have someone else do this one. However, I don't like people who are blaming just Joss. I think that's garbage.
Well, I don't really think you need to blame
be real
people.
Here.
Like, why is there
Joss
blame?
did not want that stupid Thor cave scene just so they could rub our audience's faces in the Infinity Stones. Like, you guys, don't forget about these things, you guys. Like, nobody forgot about those. Trust us, Marvel. But Marvel was like, no, you need to have these things. I think it's a shame that they didn't just let Joss tell the story he wanted because he did a good job of that with Avengers. Why would you think he wouldn't do it? I think it's unfortunate because Marvel basically shanghaied Ultron to make it a bridge film instead of just letting it be its own thing.
I agree.
I think that Joss, Joss has earned enough, like, he should have earned enough clout to be able to do what he wanted to do. Yeah. Especially since he raked in, like what, billions of dollars for them with the first one? Like, come on now. So,
but what are we blaming here? Like, what's the problem? Like, it made lots of money. I think it's generally well received. I just feel like we're all blaming it for not being what it could have been. Is that what we're blaming it for? Like
not really blaming it. It's more just like a lament that. I mean, It was obvious that there were some missteps. There were some lines too that I was like, "Oh my god, that got into the final product." Ugh.
Well, like it wasn't the Empire Strikes Back. It wasn't the Dark Knight. It wasn't Winter Soldier, right? I mean, those are your big time. Raise the bar, blow your mind sequels to things.
I mean, I had a feeling that since we were introducing so many, we're getting the Vision, like all that stuff, I figured like it would be they're going to have to lay some groundwork for like phase 3. I get that, but I feel like you could have done that without taking away from so much of the film overall. Not like individual scenes, which a lot of those I actually liked, but together it's like the scenes just didn't quite...
It's less than the sum of its parts, absolutely. So why don't we jump into your timeline, your outline,
Okay,
Nancy?
well, I think we should probably, fandom-wise, we should probably talk about the Bruce Tasha.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's garbage.
Good. Yeah, you guys tell me your feelings and then round it out.
Look, I didn't care about the Black Widow until the Avengers. Joss Whedon took who was a very mediocre character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because Iron Man 2 was like a big misfire. Iron Man 2 was okay. Ultron's better than Iron Man 2. Okay, And so they just
yeah, by far.
But Iron Man, it suffered from the same problem because they're trying to shove all this stuff in. Like, hey, Phase 2's coming, Phase 2's coming, and Ultron was like, hey, Phase 3's coming, Phase 3's coming. So there's so much stuff in there. So Black Widow as a character suffered because she didn't really fit into Iron Man 2. They just put her in there to introduce her for the Avengers. But in the Avengers, she was one of my favorite characters. She had agency. She was actually her own character. She wasn't someone's love interest, and she wasn't a damsel in distress. And she was. They took her characters to the next level in Winter Soldier. I mean, she was like partners with Captain America, but they didn't go the easy route. Like, oh, they're gonna have a romance or something. Yes, thank you very much.
We talked about that.
Yeah, it was a great, refreshing. Like, hey, here's a strong female character doing her own thing. She's not captured. She's not a love interest. She serves her own purpose in the story. Free of all those things. So I was like, hey, that's awesome. I really like where they're going with Black Widow. And furthermore, I wish we would get a Black Widow solo movie, but I feel like the window is closed on that because we're talking about Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange. Who gives a shit about those, to be honest with you? I mean, I'm just saying from the Marvel Cinematic Universe standpoint, I want to see more movies with, ironically enough, I want to see a Hulk. I want to see Black Widow, but we don't get solo movies of them.
Everyone in the world should want to see a Ruffalo's solo Hulk.
No, I'm saying is like,
or you're just wrong.
Although I want to see them in their own movies, ironically, I did not like how they were used together in this movie. So like,
okay, well,
that's my problem. Like they completely, like, Black Widow has better chemistry with every single Avenger other than the Hulk, as you see in Iron Man 2, her and Tony. As you see in Winter Soldier, her and Cap. As you see her in the Avengers.
No, Tony does not count. Tony is attracted to... No, that doesn't count.
I'm just saying her and Bruce Banner. Are you kidding? Where did this come from? They didn't set this up at all. It just came out of nowhere. It felt so forced.
I disagree. I think they had a plan to set this up because like even if it was like a bad plan and even if it was a bad setup, it was kind of hinted at all like from the very get-go in the first Avengers movie that they were going to do that. So whether I agree with it or not is a different thing, but it like to say I think there was intent there. I think there was obvious intent with those characters. Just like there was obvious intent to buddy up, Banner and Stark, which works really well.
How about the obvious intent of Natasha wearing that arrowhead necklace in Winter Soldier? Whoever was like, oh, her and Hawkeye are a couple. Great, I can't wait to see that. And then they completely dropped that by giving Hawkeye his secret farm family. And that was the funniest.
So we're gonna have to talk.
I know.
Talk about that because
that was the funniest moment of the movie where that wife comes out and Tony Stark's like, this woman is obviously an agent of some kind.
Clearly, No, I think my initial disappointment when I heard the rumors that they were going to pair Nat with someone, I was irritated, but I wanted to see where it would go because it is a little sexist too to be like, oh, well, she can't be with anyone. Well, what if it's under her own power? Then it's different. Again, you always have to look at the power. Who has the power in this decision? If it's her, then it's fine. If it's someone else, then it's wrong, basically. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't opposed to the pairing of Bruce and Nat, but I think I understand in terms of their their Marvel, their MCU personas. That makes sense to me because she didn't really have any chemistry with. It doesn't really matter. You could have facilitated that somehow. I'm not opposed to those characters being together in the films, but it didn't feel like it was very...
They didn't earn it, I don't feel.
Natural. I mean, it felt a little awkward, but I thought it was supposed to, which kind of brings me to okay, I didn't realize that a lot of people had a serious reaction to their farmhouse shower scene together when they were discussing. Okay, I don't really understand. I did not feel like Natasha was reduced to her reproductive ability during the Red Room conversation.
Yeah,
I saw that totally differently. People were flipping their lid about how it was so anti-feminist. I thought the power dynamics were reversed. Nat was the man hinting at pursuing a relationship with Bruce, and Bruce was the woman who resisted his attraction to her because reasons. That's classic gender role reversal. That's not her being I just don't really understand that reasoning. I think that was really grasping at straws there before they really looked at what it was. Her revelation that she was barren and being barren gave her one less attachment to care about was an admission that she made because she wanted to share that with Bruce. I am also a monster. We can be those things together.
Exactly.
So stupid. And then people she has no agency.
I think people were disappointed that was the big Black Widow reveal of the movie. I think they set up oh, she had this horrible past. Let's learn more about it. And I thought her flashbacks to the Red Room were very interesting. And they did a good job. I know it was very quick. but they did a good job of making Scarlett Johansson look like she did in Lost in Translation, like a teenager, because she was younger then. I was like, oh, there's some good makeup and camera angles.
Yeah, I honestly, I thought it was one of my favorite scenes. I thought, oh, here's Joss, right? Here's the really focused character moment.
Oh, well,
these two people.
And as we
I
mentioned,
don't even really ship.
people are mad at Joss Whedon. Like I'm a little disappointed that like the whole. I feel like that's the opposite of what he does. Like he gives female empowerment, and like he just basically made her a love interest. But
I have some problems with Joss trumpeting his feminist horn a lot.
And this is the guy. This is the guy who quit. He quit Twitter for various reasons, whatever, right? But I'm
quit to go right, whatever. Fuck the haters. He doesn't need people. All that.
There's all this social media drama. I mean, who cares? But I mean, he was criticizing the Jurassic World for a quote unquote sexist scene a couple months ago.
We'll see, right?
So we'll see. We will see. But wait till the movie comes out, Josh.
I do agree though that like sexist part came later when she was damseled with Ultron and Bruce came to rescue her.
Yes, it's like really. I did not think about that.
Well, my thing with that was like Black Widow could have gotten out of there like 75 different ways. Come on, now.
Right?
Here's my deal, guys. If for a movie that was so long, to begin with, like his original cut, you could have cut out that entire love story, edited things a little bit differently, and it would not have mattered at all. Would not have affected the plot.
Oh well, yeah. Well,
so like she could have got captured. Hulk could have came rescued her. Then Hulk would have just gone off to the sky because he thought he was a danger or something, and then you could eliminate the entire romance. Would not have mattered. Would have saved about 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know, maybe not that much. But you could have dedicated more to Ultron.
It was fine, whatever.
But
sure that
you know
launches
what?
like 1,000 ships. You know who should have died though? That's what we should talk about.
Yeah,
next.
who should have died, Nancy?
Who should have? Hawkeye, duh.
But wouldn't that have been too obvious?
They set up everything about that.
But that's exactly why he didn't kill him, because he subverted expectations.
Storytelling. Okay, I understand how he was trying to subvert like the classic storytelling like elements. I get that, but at the same time, if you subvert it and it falls flat, then you didn't do it right.
Didn't see that coming.
So they fridge Pietro instead? I don't care about him.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
He's had like 2 or 3 one-liners. So what?
No, he had the same one-liner the whole movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Didn't
For
see
real.
that coming.
In a terrible accent. By the way, I hated the Russian accent.
It was the worst accent.
It was like Rocky and Bullwinkle, right?
It really was, though.
the Tony Stark, I don't know. I can't even do it. But he's in better hands with Bryan Singer.
Oh, yeah, that Quicksilver's way better. I totally agree. What do you think about the Scarlet Witch? People everywhere are like, oh, I loved her so much. I'm like, oh, she was just there.
She was fine. I mean, they never really explained her powers. They literally broke it down to she's weird. So I don't know. And she really was like Jean Grey. Though I'm not really familiar.
I'm glad you said that.
Scarlet Witch.
That's what I was.
I got a huge X-Men 3 Jean Grey Dark Phoenix vibe from her.
They essentially did
from
that
the wardrobe to everything.
Is that on purpose, Lance? Like
probably because I mean, to people that aren't familiar with comics, they're not really going to understand like her power set and stuff. So, I mean, I've kind of always approached her and read Scarlet Witch. She's kind of like a mutant poltergeist. Like she does shit like that. It's really hard to explain, but it's for this movie purposes, it's just easier to be like, well, she can, she's a weird girl, but she can do like telekinesis and stuff like that, like and telepathy. So
stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I get it, but that's what it is.
I mean, I like Elizabeth Olsen. She's obviously the most talented Olsen of them all.
Clearly,
but she did fine. I mean, other than the horrible accent, like I said, I was disappointed that they didn't. I guess they figured they couldn't beat Fox at their own game as far as Quicksilver goes, so they just decided to downplay him, like his powers, because I mean, he hit nowhere near the moment. I don't know what you call it, the eye candy of Quicksilver in Days of Future Past. I mean, that was the highlight of that film. And
I agree.
Quicksilver, he was just another character, just somebody else to get killed off, who I guess was dead. It's the Marvel Universe, so you never know who's going to stay dead and who's not. But I don't think they'll be bringing him back. That was pretty definitive. I mean, he got riddled with bullets.
I was going to ask you about that, like, because no one said anything about the cradle. So I was thinking if they wanted to, they'd kind of retcon it a little bit, but seemed like they didn't have enough time to save him.
But were you disappointed? Were you disappointed that they weren't Inhumans? Because I thought they would make mutants Inhumans. You know what I mean? Like they were gonna like.
Yes.
They didn't. I don't think they even mentioned. I don't think they even used that word.
They used the word enhanced. They haven't enhanced.
They said enhanced.
Dumb.
I don't know because like it wasn't that isn't that their whole Marvel's whole little big push is
They're
like
trying
the
to
mutants
get rid of.
is
Yeah.
trying to convince people that mutants don't exist, but we have Inhumans instead,
Of
which
course,
is a completely different thing.
that movie
And like
doesn't come
Shield is
out.
doing it, and so
But let's
like
not
there's
forget
this whole
that
big
movie.
initiative for it. So
That
who
movie
knows?
doesn't come out until like 2019. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's kind of a waste of time to set up something.
I mean, I understand like that you're set up for Hawkeye to die, but
Right.
but I mean, there's a reason that is used throughout literature and
You can't-
storytelling
and
forever.
we talked about this.
It's effective.
Well, not
Like,
just that, but the other thing with that is like I thought that like with his death, his eventual death, or at least I thought it was going to happen in the movie, that it was going to they were going to examine like his role on the team and why he's necessary and why they need him. But they never got to that. Like they mentioned it briefly, like his sort of wife mentioned that.
This is sort of why it's his wife.
I'm going to say sort of because I've never heard of her before.
Yeah,
Hawkeye had a thing with Mockingbird in the comics, but not Laura Barton. Who the hell is that?
Is there a precedent for any of that?
I have to say,
No.
as much as I support like when people put in like references to like nice references, classic ones to like fandom or like an homage to fans, I just felt like this was way too fanficky even for Joss.
Well, I feel like that it was like contractual. It was like part of Jeremy Renner's contract. Like, hey, you have to give me a subplot if you want me to come back, because I feel like
maybe that's why his autograph at Comic Palooza is $175.
yeah, I will not be getting my picture taken or getting an autograph of him.
Oh, can I pay money to punch him in the balls?
Oh, damn! Wow. Okay.
I would pay that man money to punch him.
Wow. Because of what he said about the Black Widow.
All that shit. Fuck you.
For those of you not familiar, Jeremy Renner has in a couple of interviews he called Black Widow kind of a slut. Because she had been with all of the Avengers, and he had to apologize for it. But then he was on like a late night show this week, and he was like, "Hey,"
it was like, sorry, not sorry. He didn't apologize.
he was like, "Hey, I'm just
Chris Evans
saying,
did.
if I was with 4 out of the 6 Avengers and they were women, they called me a slut or something like I don't know." Anyway, he was trying to make a joke, and as someone, look, I understand he was trying to be funny. And people took it the wrong way. And if anyone understands that, it's me. So I understand what he was saying.
Do not defend Jeremy Renner. I will punch you when
But he is a terrible person and deserves to be punched in the balls, yes.
It's just like, and he's like, well, it's a fictional character. That way to miss the forest for the trees, dude. Like, way to miss it. What a jackass. And then meanwhile, you have Mark Ruffalo over here like, hey, Marvel, my daughter and my nieces really want Black Widow merchandise.
Right,
Why
I saw
don't
that.
you have it?
Mark
Hello?
Ruffalo did this tweet,
It's
and it was a picture of his daughter and his niece, and they're holding like the Avengers Adventure Pack, and it literally has every single member of the Avengers action figure in one box, except for Black Widow. I'm like,
know,
come on,
it's like-
man, it's weak.
Well,
Anyway, yeah. So, but to wrap up the Hawkeye stuff, yeah, it felt really odd. Yes, they should have killed him off, but I mean, and Nancy, you and I talked about this before in conversation. They couldn't kill off 2 of the non-powered characters 2 Avengers movies in a row.
That's true.
It would be, what I'm saying? They kill Coulson, and we're going to kill who's next? Black Widow's going to die in the next one, I guess, because they kill all the humans. I mean, it would have made sense to kill him off, but like I said, I felt like they were trying to subvert expectation. And then, of course,
too much. You can juke too much and trip over your feet. Like,
it's like, oh, we fooled you. Like, yeah, well, you made the story suck, but you fooled us. All right, thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if Fox using Quicksilver had anything to do with him killing him off. But I mean, if they were going to kill someone off, who else was it going to be, right? If they're not going to kill Hawkeye, and they're not going to kill, well, all these other characters have sequels coming up, so you can't kill them. So you're going to kill, right? Black Widow, no, because that's the only girl. I mean, imagine if they killed off Black Widow in this movie.
Oh my God.
and then the Hulk gets really mad and he kills Ultron. That would have been actually that would have made the love story work.
No, that's bridging her. No.
That's Chris Nolan her by killing off the woman because they don't know how to write female characters. Like, yeah, it's the
bridging.
It's the dead wife and the dead, the dead girlfriend and the dead daughter.
Oh, you always have to have a dead woman to fuel a man's emotional quest.
That is Mel Gibson's career. Ugh. Okay, that's what he's done from the 80s and the 90s. Mel Gibson or Liam Neeson, right? Always is the dead love interest. But so yeah, Hawkeye. I felt like they entered a different movie when they went to like the farm for a while. It was just it felt so out of place to me.
It was.
So I
didn't dislike it. I think I just felt like I maybe would have ordered some things differently. Like that wouldn't have been the safe house that they went to. That would have been a place that they like I don't really know.
Well, like you were saying, Nancy, it had great moments. Like I love the moment with Tony Stark and Captain America. They're chopping wood. I mean, that was a great moment because I feel like
so good.
We're criticizing this movie a lot, but we're kind of nitpicking it. But I will say,
not really.
I think
mean, we all still liked it.
Yeah,
It's more just like
we're more passionate about the things we didn't like.
It's just kind of a bummer that all of those like character moments, which were awesome, except for some lines. Oh my god! But most of them were pretty good. Like I still really like, even though it seemed a smidgen out of place, was like what we saw in the teaser trailers, like God, probably 2 years ago now, where they're like trying to move Mjolnir, right? And then like Steve like budges it and he has the, that was so great. I laughed.
Yeah.
I laughed.
I loved all. Yeah, Thor was in top form in this movie. I loved all him interacting
because
with
I am
people.
mighty.
Yeah,
he's just so great. He owns it. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, Thor was in top form. Cap was in top form as always.
Yeah.
And then Tony Stark was in top form. Like I loved. You could not have watched Iron Man 3 and it would not have affected this movie at all, except for not seeing his little arc reactor in his chest. I feel like
I'm sure people would have been confused.
Well, I feel like they should have mentioned the fact that he retired, but now he's back. Like that should have become like, "Hey, Stark, glad you're back," or you know what I mean? Like they made. If you're watching these movies the way they're supposed to be watched, at the end of Iron Man 3, he blows up all his suits, throws his arc reactor in the ocean, and he's done. And this movie, he's just flying around with the Avengers looking for the Loki pokey stick. So
I think my problem is that like my headcanon is pretty strong, or I just have read other things. So I just sort of filled it in for myself because that makes sense. That I don't know. It's hard for me to just take a movie at face value.
Well,
because...
yeah, you're right. I'm just saying if they went so far out of the way to end Iron Man and Iron Man 3. Like he blew up all his suits, which is stupid anyway. Right?
Totally dumb because we're. Yeah,
because
well,
there's
actually,
more.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, last night I watched the original Iron Man. So good. It's just so good.
Really
I just can't even. It's such a good movie, just by itself, without even being superhero or anything. It's just a great film. But I think this is definitely me reading too much into it. But I appreciated that it was sort of like a happenstance thing. But like the Tony that we have there and the Tony that we have at the end of Ultron are like different. Not like in terms of character arc, but like physically. It's really interesting to see. It's like I would like to pretend that it's the weight of his conscience, that the more that he has to deal with it, like the worse that he looks on the outside. Because he looks really great in Iron Man. And then I remember thinking in Ultron many times, I'm like, man, he's like skinnier. He's really pale.
He's getting old. Yeah,
like...
I mean, but he's in that. I mean, what was he like in his late 40s when he did Iron Man, the first one, right?
Oh no, I don't mean RDJ. Oh my God,
I thought you were talking about Robert Downey Jr. I mean, obviously he looks a lot more more youthful in the first two Iron Man movies.
No, I don't know if it was like the filters or whatever was going on with the filming, but I felt like he physically changed. Like he was still in shape, but like less so. I don't know. It's hard to say. Well, it kind of made me sad though. Like that movie ends on such a. What did you guys think of the ending? Besides the Avengers Assemble thing, I thought it ended on such a bittersweet note. It was really sad.
Well, I felt like that's a huge missed opportunity, to be honest, because the next big movie is Civil War, and Tony Stark and Steve Rogers are supposed to be at odds, and
that's what made me.
They set
sad.
it up. They're like, you haven't seen my dark side yet. I'm like, oh, good. They're setting him Civil War, and then in the end, he's like, hey, Tony, I'm gonna miss you, man. We're cool, right? All right, peace out, bro. And I'm like, what? Shouldn't they be a little angry at each other? Shouldn't they be mad at Tony Stark?
That's why it's sad
because it's
they
the
are
calm before the
fundamentally
storm.
different people.
Yeah.
They are fundamentally, they're trying to understand each other enough to work together, but they just are different people. They have different priorities, and that's why I thought it was sad, because they were kind of had that moment of understanding, but everyone else who's has read things knows that the next time we see them, they're going to be opposed to each other, and it's going to be nasty.
Yeah.
And I'm calling it now. They're going to make Tony into the villain. I know it.
Well, because he kind of, if you read Civil War, which
they shouldn't have done to begin with. I have my own problems with Civil War.
Well, considering that Tony Stark is the one who wants to register all the heroes, then yes, he is the villain.
But don't you think that is grossly out of character for someone who does not like the government, is always a rebel, and never wants anyone to tell him
that's probably the irony of it. They're probably... He's Iron Man. It's
irony. I say poor writing. That's what I say.
Because he's a lot more malleable.
By Civil War.
Well, he's a lot more malleable a character. Steve Rogers, where exactly where he's going to stand. And Tony Stark, he's a lot more malleable a character, I think, and they can pretty much take him in lots of directions.
Well, you know what? It'd be really cool if they reversed it.
Steve Rogers wants everyone to register.
Because he's been the one that's been clamoring about protecting the civilians and stuff like that. Maybe he'll think this Steve Rogers will think it's a good idea. He'll liken it to when he enlisted for the army.
Well,
Who knows?
Then it becomes Dark Knight Returns, and it's Batman versus Superman. Superman is the agent of the government, Captain America analog. You know what I mean?
I'm apprehensive about what
Who
we're gonna
knows? Is what
get
I'm
in
saying.
Civil War because
Look, I'm not. I'm not. I'm
Tony
actually. That's the one movie I'm looking forward to most because it's basically. Let's face it. It's Avengers 3, Civil War.
yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
we'll get into that at the end. But anyway,
Yeah.
lots of great moments for Tony Stark, Steve
Yeah.
Rogers, and Thor.
Pretty much everybody.
And so I loved all of them. I loved. Okay, the Vision was amazing.
Right?
the
Yeah,
mo-
what did you guys think of the Vision?
I got a really. I got a Silver Surfer vibe from him. You know, in a good way. Because he was just a very mysterious character, like a sci-fi. You didn't know where he stood, and I love that.
Have enough screen time. I feel like he came in really late. I understand why, but
Right.
still.
Well, I really like that the last conversation between him and Ultron. You know,
Yeah.
he's like, they're doomed, and he's like, yes, they are. Like, oh wow,
Yeah.
I was born yesterday. That was good. But
That was
seeing
good.
the best moment of the movie was when they're having that conversation, and he picks up Thor's hammer and hands it to him. Like, oh,
Yep.
The whole theater was like, woo!
That made all the little goofy Thor and that's the great Josh Whedon there. The tying all the little Thor conversations, all the human parts. Like they could have just had that Thor scene just for fun, trying to pick up the hammer, but it became a theme throughout the movie because it proved to everyone that the Vision was worthy. You know, because you don't know where he came from. You're like, how can I trust this guy? I mean. Thor just came in and electrocuted him and made him alive, which is, I guess, it's like a Frankenstein reference. I don't know, but
Probably.
that felt really odd. By the way, like I guess he just knew that he had to do that, and I'm not. I kind of lost the movie there as far as what the narrative was trying to say, but and then he copied Thor's costume. That was cool. He grew the cape and stuff. So I just love his. He has a very different point of view. And that's that's what's great about science fiction and fantasies. You can always have these characters that have a completely alien, for lack of a better word, point of view to things. And that's what the Vision brings to the table.
I agree. I loved the Vision.
The Vision was cool.
Great.
That's one of the things I never thought I'd see, like in live action. But I thought they did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, way to go, DC. We got the Vision before Martian Manhunter. Thanks a lot.
I agree. Oh, that's so sad. That makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think Tony is the one who lost the most in this film.
Well, did he though? I feel like he got away pretty scot-free for almost destroying the Earth again.
Oh, now come on!
But he's the reason. I did like that scene with him and Banner. Like, hey man, we're mad scientists. Let's own it. Like, the guy does not learn from his mistakes. But that's part of his character. And
I don't think that's it at all. That is absolutely not true.
He
does learn from his mistakes. The thing is, Tony is like a Steve Jobs character. You're not going to get anywhere just playing it safe. You're not going to make the next thing. You're not going to make the next breakthrough technology or iOS just, doing the same shit. I mean, that's the gamble. And that's what fundamentally Steve and Tony do not understand each other on that level. Because Steve would never take that risk and Tony always does.
Well,
that's always how it goes.
Well,
Plus, he lost his best friend Jarvis. Why does nobody understand that? That makes me super sad.
I thought Rhodey was his best friend.
He has horrible fright.
There's your bomb. Or whatever his joke was.
Oh, God. He was so out of place. It made me miss Terrence Howard so bad.
I know.
He was out of
Terrence
place.
Howard was so much
bad,
better.
you guys.
I mean, I like Don Cheadle. We all do. But Terrence Howard was better for that character.
I agree.
I agree.
Also, a little quick aside. It was cool to see him. It was cool to see Rhodey, in the fray at the end. But I think that Falcon should have been on that Shield helicarrier as well. Because he can fly also. So, why wasn't he there as well?
He's working that cold case.
Bullshit.
Winter Soldier. You get it? It's a cold
totally
case.
Some bullshit. I agree. I kept thinking, where the hell is Falcon?
Especially since they're introducing the new team, which I had no problem with because the Avengers are a moving team anyway. People come and go through that all the time, just like in Justice League for that matter. But it was cool that they used this movie to it was like, all right, let's have some new blood. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm really glad they included it. Literally everyone was here except for Pepper Potts and Jane Foster. So,
yeah,
and they explained that away well enough.
I hate to say that, but
there
would have been way too many. That's too much. There'd been too many characters. There were already so many.
Yeah.
And for people like us, we love that shit. We don't even really notice. But I wonder how that looks to someone who's just has a passing interest in superhero stuff.
That is, I mean, I give DC a hard time for not combining all the universes, but this is going to be a continuing problem. The further, the more they expand the universe, the more people are going to have to be in all the movies. Winter Soldier worked because it was undercover. They were, having to be off the radar and stuff. That's why we just didn't call the Avengers, but. and that's why Captain America 3 has become the Avengers 3, which is fine. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like,
I'm okay with that.
The story calls for it.
Well, yeah, exactly. The story dictates that they all be there. I mean, because
Sure.
Civil War is an Avengers story. It's a Marvel Universe story, so
Right.
it's not just limited to just one character. Even though two characters spark it, it's everybody's involved.
So, Nancy, what else is on your outline there?
What have I not said? We mostly covered. I think we covered Pietro. He was on here twice.
It would have been cool to see his dad.
No, not happening.
Lord,
Doesn't
we'll
exist.
never see that, will we?
Nope.
Merciful heavens. There was something I was going to ask.
I have a question.
Shoot, I forgot.
What did you guys think of Ultron?
Oh yeah, the name of the movie.
The name of the movie.
Classic, like comic book style villain, right?
In a good or bad way?
Both.
Yeah, I'd say both.
Yep, exactly. I think people were really
Both,
People were really talking up Ultron, like, oh man, he's gonna be.
I never felt he was scary.
I didn't
He seemed very like grandiose. You know how that? Well, that's what I meant. Like very theatrical, very comic booky.
Well, he
like,
copied. I get that he copied the Tony Starkisms, and he had that kind of father complex with Tony Stark, which was interesting. That's why he hates it. He hates you the most. That's funny when the Vision just walked by.
That was good.
The Vision, comic relief, the Vision. But I feel like there was some miss potential there with Ultron because he was an artificial intelligence. They kind of they work around that by saying that a lot of it came from the mind gem. So like it really wasn't Tony Stark created this AI who grew crazy. Like the reason it's all messed up is because it's from this mind gem. It should never have been tapped into in the first place. So I get all that. That's fine. But
sure.
I feel like there was more to Ultron. Like the moments where as we were just criticizing Black Widow getting captured, but he was like, "Hey, do you want to see this? I'm gonna tell you because there's no one else to talk to." I was like, I felt kind of felt kind of sad for him, And then like he's like telling the twins, he's like, "Hey, please don't do this." And even at the end, like they tried to make him sympathetic, like, "Hey, if you stay here, you'll die." Like he was trying to be nice to Scarlet Witch, and then she just kills him. I'm like, whoa. But I feel like they could have done more with Ultron. Like most Marvel villains, he's very underdeveloped, and
I actually thought Loki was better in terms of.
Well, of course,
I think
of course he was better.
Right. I mean, the complexity. I understand what they were trying to go for with Ultron, and I appreciate that. But I feel like they kind of stayed too much in the middle. They should have really been painting him as an extremes kind of. Where you feel sympathetic for him 1 minute, but then you're like, he's murdering people.
Well, like his plan was like humanity needs to evolve, so I'm going to wipe them all out. So what? Like
it's just like, if he was a corrupted AI, then you should have played that up a little.
Yeah,
more.
like he thinks in a binary code of a machine, like what I mean, like Skynet. But I guess they wanted to get away from that. I don't know. So
I guess they wanted to draw more of a parallel between he and the Vision. I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and that worked a little bit towards the end. Like when the Vision showed up, I saw the yin and yang or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I feel like he didn't really have to be a robot. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, well, he had to because, Tony. We have to make sure that Tony.
Well, I'm saying that
everything.
His function in this film, he did not have to be a robot. That's what I'm saying.
He had to if Tony was making him.
Well, that's true. But I'm saying, like, for his master plan, he didn't have to be a robot. And I think
no, but what else was he going to be?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he could have been something else, then you missed the opportunity to use a machine. You didn't really go all out with, like, a corrupt AI or something.
That's fair.
So that's my only point. Like, I didn't mind. Like, as far as
fair
Marvel
enough.
villain goes, you're right. Loki is by far the best. I would still rank Red Skull second. Hugo Weaving's Red Skull. And then I guess
just didn't get enough screen time.
Well,
which is unfortunate.
Most of the Marvel villains outside of Loki. But then outside of them, and then I'd probably put Ultron at number 3 as far as the villains go. But beyond them, who's a memorable villain?
Well, I mean, have that many
exactly.
And see, right, and that's the thing. That's why I like Magneto so much.
Nope, doesn't exist. Nope.
In a separate universe, of course.
Doctor Doom doesn't exist either. So
not yet.
That's unfortunate because he's a great character that they messed up.
So. But really, though, I mean, who else is there? There's
really nobody.
Andy Serkis looks like he's going to be a great villain. I loved his little part, and they set him up to be the main villain of Black Panther.
Of course. Yeah, so what do you guys... I'm really excited about that. The minute that they were like, well, we need more vibranium, and I thought, I know where we're going.
Well, no, as soon as they said Wakanda, I was like, I got real excited. For a second, I thought we were actually going to see the nation, but
No.
but
We
it's
just
okay.
saw the port of Wakanda. But I loved how unintimidated Andy Serkis was. He's like, hey, want a candy?
Yeah.
It's the best.
That was like, he was awesome, and I'm so glad he's getting some on-camera roles now. I mean, he's an exceptional motion capture actor. But
He's an exceptional actor, period.
Yeah, and
I don't care what people say, that fool should have gotten that Oscar for being Smeagol, because Jesus.
Or Caesar, or nominated for that.
Yeah.
For Planet of the Apes. But the he's going to be in Star Wars as well, so I mean he's really putting his name on. So I think he can definitely carry he can carry a film as a main villain. So I was interested in Black Panther. Now I'm really looking forward to it because of this setup. Because his name is Claw or whatever, and he gets his arm cut off, so he's gonna have like a claw hand.
Yes,
so,
he is.
Set that up nicely.
Just makes me think of Inspector Gadget.
Yes, like exactly.
Dr. Claw.
Exactly. But does he have that push face hissing kitty? He needs that.
Did you ever see the Inspector Gadget toy of Claw where they show his face?
No.
What?
Yeah.
They do?
It's very disappointing. Everyone go look up. Go Google Inspector Gadget action figure Claw. And it's funny, on the box of the action figure, there's actually like his face is blacked out by like a sticker. When you open it up, it looks like Doc Brown or something. It's very disappointing.
What? That's
Yep.
Oh, lame.
I know, right? But anyway, Ultron. Yeah, like I said, for a movie titled Ultron, we're not talking about Ultron very much because I feel like he really was underdeveloped, as we were saying. Most Marvel villains are if you're not Loki. So, and he's gone.
Yep.
I mean, he's not coming back. So, and now Lance, being the comic book historian of us here, did you mind that he wasn't built by Hank Pym, Ant-Man, and all that?
Yeah. I didn't mind. My old lesson teacher, who is the real Marvel fan, was pissed. Like, he actually called me one day after work, and I was like, "Hey Reggie, what's going on?" And he's like, "I am mad as hell." I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" He's like, "Tony Stark didn't create Ultron." He's like, "Hank Pym did." I was like, "I know, but for the purpose of the movie," he's like, No, I am pissed off.
Yeah, because the Ultron robot in the comic books, he looks like Ant-Man, like the helmet and stuff. Now Ultron's drones in this movie looked kind of like Ant-Man. I'd say like you know what I mean, like the face.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Ultron himself looked a lot like Megatron.
Yes, he did.
I thought that too.
What? See,
Yeah.
Hugo Weaving, he didn't have to play Red Skull. He could have voiced Ultron. But I hope Hugo Weaving comes back at some point as Red Skull. But I feel like the further they get away from Phase 1, the less likely that it's going to happen. Because I mean, he got sucked up into space, into the Tesseract, so he could easily come back. But I don't know. It's maybe it's best he's left in the past. But and apparently he wasn't that excited about coming back either. I mean, he did a great job. I thought he was awesome. Hey man, Hugo Weaving, if you're going to come back and do the Matrix sequels, what's your problem with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, man? So anyway. The deal with Ultron, I mean, it's fine. Like, I just think it's odd that we're getting Ant-Man like in 2 months with Hank Pym in it, and there's no connection at all. Like, I thought they'd be like, yes, let's resurrect the Ultron project by Hank Pym. I thought they would name drop or something.
Yeah, I did too.
They didn't even do that, which was odd. So,
but hey, he's gonna be involved in Cap 3.
Yes, he is. So
what are y'all's thoughts on Ant-Man? Because I am very wary because they have not released any trailer with a tone that fits the content. So
I just don't know what
to think.
It's a poor man's Iron Man is the way they're promoting it. It's the exact same plot beats. It's a reluctant hero. It's the guy with the company, the guy that the company has the bigger suit than when you have, and it's more serious. And there's a comedic tone.
The problem with that is I'm just gonna watch that, and even if it's good, I won't be able to appreciate it.
I mean, I really like Paul Rudd, so I mean,
I don't like him more than Robert Downey Jr. or Iron Man.
Look, we're all gonna see it.
I know. I feel like I'm already set up for disappointment because there's just no way it's gonna be better.
Well, yeah, I just felt like they should have set up something from Ant-Man in Avengers. I mean, there's so much else going on. What harm would it have done? I mean, you set up Black Panther, so why don't you set up
for
Ant-Man?
real?
Black Panther comes out like 2 years from now. Ant-Man comes out in 2 months. So
I can't believe. Yeah, you're right. It didn't even occur to me after I'd seen it. They didn't name drop anything.
No, but so what did Nancy? What did you think of the visions they all had? By the way, from the Scepter.
Oh, yeah, I know those are really polarizing.
Not from the Scepter, but I guess from Scarlet Witch.
I understand.
I feel like Tony Stark's was like his darkest fear, obviously.
Sure.
Because he actually saw the invasion coming, so he has a point of reference. Thor was the future, I guess, because Thor Ragnarok, they literally take them to hell, so that makes sense.
Right.
And then in one of the deleted scenes, actually, he sees Loki and kind of hints that
Nice.
Thor has a subliminal message that Loki is taking over Asgard, but since it's a dream, he doesn't really see it. I thought that would have been interesting, but
That
whatever.
would have been really cool.
Be that
That
as it
would've been
may,
cool.
and we have more Tom Hiddleston, which everyone wants.
Yeah.
Yay!
And
Cap's
what was
vision was
Cap?
well, I think it's like, you know, a missed opportunity, a life not lived.
Yeah, but there's no consistency between any of these visions. That's why I was confused.
Well, but why would there be? They're individual to the person
It's true.
who's experiencing
That's true.
them.
But I mean, I guess you just said mess up your mind, and whatever happens, happens, right?
Well, but again, I don't really think that's the fault of the visions. Ugh, I'm sorry I said that. The dreams.
Right.
I don't think it's the fault of the dreams so much as like you said, they did not really like spell out any sort of limits on Scarlet Witch in terms
She's
of
weird.
what her power actually is. Yeah. So
talk about-
you kind of got it, but you know.
Well, talk about having it. We were talking about having everyone in the film. They had Dr. Selvig back in the stupid film. I'm surprised
They did.
Kat Dennings
Oh,
didn't
man.
show up too.
My God,
You
I know, right?
He's like, I need your help. It's like, it's nice
Showed
to be
up for a
needed.
paycheck.
Keep getting them checks.
So
For real.
completely unnecessary subplot. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, I guess they're trying like we were talking about earlier. They kind of made Joss Whedon include this stuff because we got to set up the Infinity Stones.
I just felt like that was the one thing that really irked me the most. The Thor cave scene that was like so. I kept thinking to myself, where is he gonna be that he's gonna like be wet and have his shirt off? Because I know I haven't seen that yet. And then it happens, and I thought to myself, oh, what a waste! Like, it was a stupid scene. That's so sad.
Could have just had him take a shower and got the same impact for all the viewers.
They should have. I know, right? It would have. Oh, but yeah, I would like more of that.
I'm sorry,
please.
I've used all the hot water.
Yes, can we please subject more of my favorite superheroes to the female gaze? I would like that a
Hey,
lot.
you get the Hulk runs around without a shirt on all the time. Big ripped guy like that. Black Widow's into it. So what's the problem?
Not the same. Oh, I loved the Tony Bruce. I thought it was a little
I love that.
extraneous,
Yes,
but I loved that. That was so good.
I really enjoyed the Hulkbuster. I know people were geeking out over it. I mean, I'm not the
Yeah.
biggest Marvel guy in the world, so it meant nothing to me. Like, oh my god, the Hulkbuster armor! Ah! But I still enjoyed the whole.
Love
like,
when you do that voice.
well, Lance does a better nerd voice.
So the Hulkbuster was like the greatest thing in the whole movie to me.
Oh my god! He's like, flee, 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 flee.
Oh my god,
I really did like
was
that.
good though.
It was,
yeah, I
of
like
That was
that.
really cool.
Of course, they had the heroes
Tony's,
fight each
like,
other as they
running
have to,
dialogue was good. Like all of that was good.
Yeah, that was really good. And the whole thing with the now, I will say this: as someone who actually liked Man of Steel, I felt like they went out of their way to address the public backlash from Man of Steel, all the civilian and property damage. You know, it's like, we have to get the civilians out. Oh, how many people are in this building? Oh, I'm going to save
I
these
think
people in
that
this
honestly
elevator.
just makes sense for after the Avengers. I think that just makes sense to me for the characters. Like that's something that would come up, and that kind of came up too in Winter Soldier, like the collateral damage for people who are not in the position to affect these things that happen. They just happen to these people.
Well, like Cap says, I'm sick of people paying for our mistakes. You know,
Yeah.
Right. No, so I think that kind of makes sense. Plus, with Tony's whole like conscience, you know, he has to be a martyr and all that shit. Like, it makes sense that he would set up some sort of foundation to start
I
funding
get it.
things.
And I like the Iron Legion where they all had to like get away from this area and all that. That was good.
Yeah.
But...
At the same time, though, I agree. There's a little too much focus on the civilians. I was
Thank
like,
you.
I get it.
I'm like
I get
30
it. You guys are doing a good
minutes
job.
of like, oh, we got not
Well,
one person
I
left
felt like-
behind. You know. I liked how they showed the all the people getting on the boats. I like how they showed a dog get on the boat. I'm like, oh, good, they saved the pets. That spoke to me. I like that.
I thought that too. I was like,
thank
oh,
you.
there was a dog there.
See, Superman went back. Superman's dad went back and saved the dog too. So,
So easily manipulated.
I really
But
felt
no.
like that was a response to Man of Steel, though. Like just like how I thought Hawkeye was a response to, oh, there wasn't enough Hawkeye in the first one. We got to put a lot of them in this one. And oh, people don't like property damage. Well, let's address that. You know, I felt like those were intentional like things for that purpose, and that's why it didn't really sit well with me. I felt like you said, Nancy, they wasted too much time on the civilians.
Yeah, they did. I thought it was filler. I thought honestly that was kind of covering up some questionable writing.
Yeah, it took a while.
And they did. I will say I appreciated the fact that they didn't do the whole episode 1 battle droid thing again with the army, with like,
Yes.
we killed the mothership, so all the aliens turn off, or
Yeah.
that doesn't make any
that
sense.
was great.
So like
Well,
we have to
it
destroy
makes
every
sense.
single Ultron. You know, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad they established that.
Well,
from the
it
top.
gives them some stakes. Come on.
Instead of like just
It gives
fight
them-
hordes
yeah.
of people. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Then you're right. That scene between like the last Ultron
That was great. That was one of the best scenes in the
Drone
movie,
and
yeah.
the Vision was great.
Because that's
really
that's
good.
two artificial intelligences commenting on humanity. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what science
it was-
fiction's about.
It was cool. Yeah, exactly.
Now I said this at the very beginning. Is it the same movie as the first one? I felt like it had like this in battle we're talking about was very similar. Like you had a horde of, and I said this when we saw the trailers too. If a horde of faceless enemies were fighting, and it was I get that, like I just said, the stakes were different. They had to kill them all and all that. But it was like I hope for Infinity War. I mean, with Thanos, does he have an army of like parademons, like like Darkseid would?
I think that's really
Probably
more
will.
the failing of comic books than it is the films. I mean, if you're
When
gonna
you have
be
a team
those
of heroes,
elements,
you gotta have. You
there
either have to
has
have a
be
super
enough
powerful
for everyone to beat up.
Yeah.
You can't
Well,
just
that's
have
true.
one person.
Or you have like the whole you have that scene that cover to the like Justice League #1 where they're fighting Starro and it's the giant starfish. You have to have like a giant villain for them all to fight and be occupied with at the same time.
True.
Or they're just all, or you get the problem like why are these heroes standing around? Why the three of them are fighting? That's why you never have like a 3-on-1 lightsaber fight, right? Because it's like you could easily kill the one bad guy.
Yeah.
So I get you're right. They have to have something to fight, but I hope they do something different. Than
I
in
think
the
they will.
Infinity War.
I really like the Russo. I like what they've done so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited about the Russos taking over because obviously they know what they're doing with Winter Soldier. Captain America 3 or Civil War will be their training ground, even more so for Infinity War. And Infinity War will have everything, like everything in the kitchen sink. So, but yeah, I mean, look, end of the day, we enjoyed this movie. I know,
Yeah.
I feel like we've been nitpicking it to death.
That's only because we like it.
But where would you rank this, like in the Marvel films, like?
Oh, I'm totally different from everybody else. I have very weird rankings.
This is my like. We don't need to rank them all, but my ranking would be, I'd rank the Avengers, the first one, and then I do both Captain American movies, Winter Soldier, then First Avenger, and then I do Iron Man, the first Iron Man, and then what was I gonna say? Was that 4 movies? Okay, so then I put Thor as number 5, and then I brought the first Thor, and then I probably put this at like after that. So this is like right after the top 5 to me. Age of Ultron would be like 6th, middle of the pack for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's how I'd rank them. And then the rest of them, who cares at that point? Iron Man 2 and 3 are at the bottom. So let's establish that.
Again, highly subjective.
Anyway, so what do you guys think? I mean, where would you rank Ultron in terms of everything else? You know what? I'd probably rank Guardians of the Galaxy over Ultron as well. So that's number 6 to me. And then this would be 7. So it's getting lower and lower the more I think about it. But you guys carry on. Continue, please.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to top, Avengers, Cap 2, and the first Iron Man. Those are definitely the top 3.
So agree.
So I'd say that this, let's see, it's definitely, I think either 5 in a top 5 or going to be 6. Because I'm not sure if I guess if you catch me on the right day or the right mood, I might say Guardians of the Galaxy might be better than Ultron.
Guardians of the Galaxy made me cry with Groot. Okay, so that's why it's that's why it's up there.
But you know what? I wanted to like that movie so much more than I did. I really liked it. I thought that I would be really obsessed with it and love it, and I just wasn't.
Well, I don't love it the way all these people. Oh man, it's better than the Avengers. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. But it was very well done, and I felt like it hit some emotional chords with me, like with Groot and with Rocket and all that stuff. So that's why I rank it higher.
Groot and Rocket are best.
That's true.
The new Han and Chewie. We're home.
Pretty much, though. Oh my gosh, then we get to see a geriatric Han and
Chewie.
Anyway.
We're a tree and a raccoon. All right, go ahead. Nancy, so where would you rank Ultron? Yeah.
No, I pretty much exactly agree with Lance. Almost exactly.
Well,
I don't know.
Pretty similar. Like I like the first Captain America movie because Captain America is my favorite Marvel hero and the World War II thing. So
I love the first Captain. My problem is I don't dislike some of them enough to form a ranking.
I see what you mean. It's a big like mass of
Yes.
And
I feel like there's like a first. The Iron Man will always be my favorite. It doesn't matter anything else they make. It would have to be really good.
Well, it's the reason we're all here. Like
to beat that out.
As far as Marvel goes, it's the Superman the movie of the Marvel universe. Like nothing else would exist if that first Iron Man had not happened.
Yeah, like Iron Man, Avengers. Then it starts coming like, okay, 4 films tie for 3rd place. Like I wouldn't be able to actually rank them. Because I like them. I watched the first Thor recently again. Loved that.
That's
just
a great
really
movie.
like it.
It had no right to be that good.
It didn't. Well, it had no expectations, which allowed it to be its own thing.
And Kenneth Branagh is a great director. Another great director who Marvel chased off.
He's
maybe he'll be back for
treasure
Thor
of
3.
Britain. Yeah, no, honestly, I need to see Thor 2 again because I remember thinking to myself that I didn't like some things about it, but I liked the Thor Loki relationship.
Well,
so
the
that
further I get from that, I think that might be at the bottom. Almost.
That's fair.
The further I get from that, the more I'm like, yeah, that was. I mean, Malekith, really? I'm surprised I even remember his name. But
he'll always be the Ninth Doctor to me.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really look at this like, oh, man, this is not The Dark Knight or The Empire Strikes Back, but it's not a sequel, really. I mean, yes, it's a sequel to Avengers, but it's like the 11th movie, I think it is.
So I guess we should say it's a solid addition.
Yeah. And
it doesn't like, necessarily stand out.
Yes. It's just another by-the-numbers superhero movie.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. I mean,
I just hope they start switching up the formula because I feel like
you can't get away with this again. Yeah.
Well, audiences, not you and me, not us, because we love superheroes and we'll go see all the films. But people, just normal people who have a passing interest, I am very worried that from here on out it's going to be like an uphill battle.
Well,
yes,
I mean,
to be interested,
like the first Avengers movie made $200 million opening weekend. This one made $190 million. So it was actually. In an age where a sequel makes less than the original, that's kind of scary, you know. If I was Marvel, it's not. I mean,
but like you said, lightning in a bottle. That was the Avengers.
Yeah,
you just can't replicate that again.
Well, speaking of moving forward in the cinematic universe, actually today, how fortuitous of us to be recording a podcast today. They made the official announcement for Captain America: Civil War. Production began, so they came out with a cast list and the summary, and it's basically, it literally says. Captain America: Civil War picks up where Age of Ultron left off. So it's literally the next installment, and that's fine,
Yeah.
And they try to protect the world from a new and nefarious villain. So I don't
devastation. But
yeah, I don't know. Is that is that Martin Freeman? Because everyone else is accounted for.
I kind of thought it might be
that, or he's playing Spider-Man because
or Bilbo. Whatever.
Our buddy Mike Krause made that joke earlier. He listens to the show. Thank you, Mike. Because it's like, who is he playing? No one else has listed Spider-Man's going to be in this, or at least I would think so. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm getting out of order, but lack of a post-credit scene. I was really expecting Spider-Man in a post-credit scene, by the way.
Me too, especially
and I know
since that faux one was going around.
Yeah, that faux one was great. That would have been perfect.
That would have been great,
You wouldn't have to reveal who was playing Spider-Man or whatever. It would have been perfect.
I don't even like Spider-Man, and I thought that was awesome.
But they give us nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. And then the mid-credit scene was pretty much the mid-credit scene from the first Avengers movies.
So useless.
I need to do it myself.
You know what was annoying to me was it was just like, oh, we need you guys to totes remember that this dude is still out in space doing nefarious things.
Still hasn't done a damn thing.
He's gonna come. He's gonna come and he's gonna be unhappy. You guys so
they're
dumb.
building that up so much to better pay off.
I know.
I thought for sure they would use something in this movie in the mid-post credits to set up Civil War. And they didn't. Yeah. They did nothing. So, but I'm just gonna go down the cast list here. Chris Evans, Captain America, of course. Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark,
of course.
Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. Mm-hmm. Sebastian Stan's back as the Winter Soldier.
My dude.
I'm so excited.
Anthony Mackie's back as Falcon.
That's my dog.
Paul Bettany is back as the Vision.
The Vision. Oh my
Jeremy
God.
Renner's back as Hawkeye. Don Cheadle's back as War Machine. Elizabeth Olsen is back as the Scarlet Witch. And then it also includes the additional. And that's the main cast. Okay. Yep. Also included Paul Rudd. Okay, as Ant-Man. Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. He also played James Brown in biopic. He also played the Jackie Robinson in biopic. So this guy,
black people.
He's got the market cornered on that. Emily Van
his acting career is all the most influential black
20th
people.
century.
and Black Panther
and everyone else is played
Robinson.
by Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
I know, right?
That's hilarious.
Electro and Black Panther. That's your 20th century African Americans. So Emily Van Camp is back as Agent Carter, Sharon Carter, Agent 13.
Revenge.
Right. Revenge got canceled, by the way.
Dang.
Daniel Bruhl. I don't know who he's playing, but. Frank Grillo's back as Hawkeyes. Martin Freeman is back as back. Martin Freeman joins the universe as someone who they have not specified. And this is the one that surprised the hell out of me. William Hurt is coming back as General Ross.
So agree
I'm
with
like,
you.
what?
That is.
It's
come
terrible.
On now.
That movie was
terrible.
8 years ago. By the
You
time
should be
this comes
trying
out.
to forget that ever existed
Yes.
because that Hulk is garbage compared to this one.
Now, hold on, Nancy. Now, I really liked The Incredible Hulk. Okay, I really liked William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross. I thought he was great in that movie. I liked Ed Norton. I liked what's his name? It's the Abomination. What's his name?
There's a
Tim
huge
Roth.
butt coming after that.
So
statement.
so I love that whole movie. But look, be that as it may, Ed Norton left for whatever reasons, right? There's a lot of Marvel and their behind the scenes drama, right? Went the way of Don Cheadle, and went the way of Terrence Howard. Don Cheadle replaced him. So Ed Norton got replaced by Mark Ruffalo, and we all can agree the Hulk has never been better than he's been in the Avengers movies. Romance with Black Widow, notwithstanding.
Even with it, still better.
Look, I thought, okay, well, you know what? Perfect example right there, Nancy. Black Widow is the new Betty Ross, right? She can calm down the Hulk. They're in love, whatever, right? So I thought, okay, they're just ignoring. They're throwing out the entire Incredible Hulk mythology. Fine, that's fine.
I'm so okay with that.
That's fine. You know what? I liked it at the time, but let's face it, it's been almost 8 years since it came out, 2008. So next year, by the time when Civil War comes out, it would have been 8 years since the Incredible Hulk. We have not seen any of those characters, any of those actors since the Incredible Hulk, 2008. Okay, the only thing I would just assume disconnected from the cinematic universe entirely. The only thing connecting it is that post-credit scene with Tony Stark recruiting Thunderbolt Ross. That is the only thing that still ties it to. And of course, they mentioned the super soldier serum and all that. But
they do.
But I mean, that's the only thing tying to it. So I thought for sure they would just ignore all that and move forward. But now we're going to be reminded. Now, just when I was coming around to Mark Ruffalo, like, look, fine, he's our Hulk. He's here to stay. I've accepted it. I'm cool with it, right? Just when I came to terms with it, now they're going to bring back the Incredible Hulk and put it on our face. Like, really? Like, it's going to be very distracting because then you have to go back and actually reference and reconcile those movies, and it's completely unnecessary.
No, maybe not. They'll just be like, because we haven't seen any of Bruce's past, really, with Mark Ruffalo. So they'll probably just, when he sees him, he'll probably just be like, oh, I know him.
But he's not in.
What I
did
mean?
Did you not hear the cast list? The Hulk is not in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but
why are you bringing back his supporting cast in a movie he's not in?
Well, so probably Black Widow will unfortunately be that person who, like, oh, I know about you. I've heard, that kind of thing.
Bruce
kind
used to be. Yeah.
Link it together. Yeah.
I got you. Well, yes.
I'm with you, though. Yeah, that's seems pretty stupid to
Do you think he'll become the Red Hulk in this?
Ooh.
That would be, to me,
that would be interesting.
Because there's no Hulk in this.
What do you guys
could be
think?
The Red. I think that would be great. I think that, how else do you use that character? Just have Hulk to play off of, right?
It's fair. It's fair.
And then Martin Freeman will be playing Tim Roth as the Abomination. No, I don't know.
Who even knows? I was very thrown by that. I was like, what, Martin, what are you doing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
He's becoming like his boy Cumberbatch. He's in everything. He's got little hobbit hands and everything, doesn't he?
I so do not care. I love those men so much. It is ridiculous.
No, it's fine.
Don't even care.
Oh, yeah,
I'm excited.
Is his character going to meet Doctor Strange at some point? That'd be fun.
That would be great.
I mean, we had Bilbo meet Smaug, so we have to have whoever Martin Freeman's playing meet.
Oh my gosh, I'd have to fangirl squeal in the audience, probably.
But
it'll happen.
It is odd that they didn't announce Spider-Man or an actor or anything.
Yes, I agree. Are they? You think they're just keeping that under wraps, like a secret?
So. I mean, to me, to be honest, knowing that they're going to do Peter Parker now, I'm already disappointed. So
same. so agree.
I don't care who it is.
The only way I could have gotten excited is if it had been Miles Morales.
Agreed.
The only way.
This is the perfect opportunity for them to do that with, and they just fucked it up.
Yeah. They could have killed so many birds with one stone. Oh my god! I hate Peter Parker.
I don't know when they're going to slot in this Spider-Man movie. I guess they're. I don't know. If I know they reschedule a lot of their spin-offs to do it, but. It's coming 2017, so you'd think maybe he's gonna be in the post-credit scene. But Civil War was there's not many masked heroes. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man is one of them, and he's a huge part of Civil War. Obviously, it's not going to be a direct translation, much like the Winter Soldier was not a direct translation of the Winter Soldier. But you think Spider-Man would be in this? I mean, they have the rights, so they have no excuse now.
Yeah.
So, right.
but it's pretty packed cast already. So.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I mean that's ridiculous.
Names. Yeah,
it's gonna be. I compared it to when I posted this news on Facebook today on our Facebook page. I compared it to X-Men: Days of Future Past, but at least Days of Future Past had 2 different time periods to have all the characters in. You know? So that at least kind of balances it out and separates them. And there's future cameos and all that. This these are all characters. Like, all these people are going to be doing stuff, and it's crazy. Like, it's going to get, I don't know, it's they're walking a fine line. And then imagine how crazy Infinity War is going to be. Especially if they bring in, like, Daredevil, they bring in the TV side of things, like Daredevil and Luke Cage and all that, you know? It's going to get pretty insane. I mean, I have a feeling they would in Infinity War just go all out, because that's it. So, but that's, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Captain America 3. Now, I finally, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, guys, you let me know, but if Captain America 3 is good, then we finally have a solid
trilogy,
a superhero trilogy that doesn't screw something up at some point.
I agree.
And I say that as a Batman fan. I think, you know, Lance and I are both on the same page about Dark Knight Rises. What do you think of Rises? Do you think it ruined the trilogy like we do, Nancy? Or
No.
Did you like Rises?
Well, it's like one of those questions where I can't just be like answered in a vacuum because other things existed before it did.
Well, do you feel like the Chris Nolan trilogy is really good?
Well, I did
these are
until
not
Dark
questions.
Knight Rises came out.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's kind of the problem. Like we talked about this before, though, about how it seems like thematically and story-wise, Rises should have come before the events of the Dark Knight, because that one just like really was the pinnacle of storytelling, and that was in the middle.
Yeah, should have been a prequel.
It's like, yeah.
Well, anyway, these are not the kind of questions to ask as you're wrapping up a podcast. So I apologize. Those are big questions for any nerd to answer. But I mean, look at it. I mean, X-Men. I mean, Spider-Man, Dark Knight trilogy. All of them, of course. Dark Knight trilogy is the best. But I think with major reservations attached to the third one. Now, and obviously Captain America is not going to be like a true trilogy, so to speak, because they got all these other... But you could say that's even a strength. Like, it's got successful spin-offs. You know, if you want to see the Avengers like a spin-off of Captain America, I mean, he's great in that, too. So you're going to get, like, 5-6 movies that are awesome of Captain America. And as a Captain America fan, very happy. So, like, after Civil War, whatever. I don't really care. I'm carefree with the rest of the Marvel Universe. Like, that's going to be the end of my emotional investment, I think. Because, I mean, they're probably going to kill off Steve Rogers.
Okay, that's what I was just about to ask. Okay, so when do you think that's going to happen?
Cap 3
in Civil War, and and then Bucky will take over because Sebastian Stan has like 6 more movies on his contract.
His contract is like super long. And I was actually kind of sad that the first sign that I should have known that they were going to do something different with Nat, because I know she's with Bucky in the comics, and I was kind of like, well, is Winter Soldier going to be in Ultron? No? Oh boy. Okay.
Well, the Hulk is gone, and we don't know when he's coming back. So at least there is that. So
it makes me so sad because he was so great.
But yeah, I mean, let's not forget we had the entire Bucky storyline to kind of wrap up or
which
address,
I'm really excited about, because I loved Winter Soldier. I liked him. I liked that movie. It was great.
Well, the Ed Brubaker run in the comics is
one of the best
runs of anything ever.
Oh,
well, no, I mean the comic as well. The movie was great, but I'm saying all the source material this movie could draw from is excellent. So, like, no matter what they do, it's going to be hard for them to mess it up. And we've seen what these guys have done with a big ensemble cast before in Winter Soldier, and they they knocked it out of the park. So I really am not concerned about Civil War. I am concerned about Infinity Gauntlet a little bit because there's so much going on.
I think I'm definitely concerned about Civil War from a very personal perspective. But other than that, I think they're going to tell a good story. I just don't know if I will like it.
Well, I feel when they kill off Captain America, which they will, like, I feel like they might leave him dead. So, like, part 2 of the Infinity War, you know, like something.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to. Well, like I said, we've all said that there has not been a high stakes death, one that actually mattered, that made people sad in the audience. No one gave a shit about Pietro. No one's crying over that.
Well, Coulson.
People would have cried over Hawkeye, though. I'll give you that.
Well, Coulson, but technically he's alive. I mean.
Right.
Although we don't acknowledge the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. universe.
No, but the thing is, Coulson's not Captain America, though. That's the difference.
Exactly. And I think for people who have not read the comics, that will be a huge shock. That's like Red Wedding levels.
Yes.
Shock. They are not expecting that to happen.
And like you said, since Marvel resurrects everyone else immediately, to leave him dead for at least a movie will actually impact some people. Now, as always in the comic books, there's some convoluted way to bring him back. So I'm sure they'll use an Infinity Stone to bring him back in the second one, right? So I mean, Bucky will sacrifice himself to bring back the true Captain America or something, which is disappointing because I'd really like to see a Winter Soldier spin-off movie, like based like over his missions in the years. You know, there's a lot. Awesome. He could have encounters with Black Widow. He could have encounters with Agent Carter. I mean, there's so much of the Marvel universe he can tap into. Like, he should appear on good news, everyone. Agent Carter's been renewed.
Yep. Yes. So excited.
I don't know what time period it's going to take place in, but he can appear on that. I mean, you really need. He's a character who exists across the decades, so you can take advantage of that. So I like to see. Here's my deal. Like I said, past Civil War, I don't really care. I mean, Infinity War, sure, but after that, I want to see Black Widow movie. I want to see Hulk movie. I want to see Winter Soldier movie. I want to see movies of characters I've invested myself in. But we're not getting any of those. We're getting Doctor Strange and the Humans and Captain Marvel.
Yep.
I know Captain Marvel's good and all that stuff, but I mean, why we have so many characters now? Why are we introducing?
Okay, well,
more?
no, I actually really care about Captain Marvel, but
Joss Whedon wanted her in this movie. By the way, he wanted her in Ultron.
I know.
Well, that's another character. Is are they going to do the new Captain Marvel, or are they going to do the old Captain Marvel? That was another.
Yes, I don't know.
See, that was another opportunity. They could have started fresh with her as opposed to the old one.
Oh my god, I think I would have actually asphyxiated in the theater from excitement.
I just hope DC gets their Shazam movie out before Marvel gets their Captain Marvel movie out and just really confuse the hell out of everybody.
Right?
Assuming they even use the word Captain Marvel in the Shazam movie. Anyway, that's its own conversation. But
good point.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. We have all these characters.
Yeah, that's true. It's getting crowded. I understand what you're saying. Even if the characters being introduced later are great, it is getting.
And we're gonna get Ant-Man sequels and Guardians of the Galaxy sequels, and I don't
really give a shit about Ant-Man right now. So
it's
gonna have to work. It's gonna have to work really hard to make.
I think Ant-Man's gonna be like Thor or Iron Man. It's really gonna take people by surprise if it's good. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
But I think everyone's kind of going into that with no expectation. So
that's what I'm doing.
Anyway, that's a lot of Marvel talk there, guys. But it's Marvel season. It's movie season. It's Marvel season. So we got we'll be back in a couple months to talk about Ant-Man and continue our. Because whenever you talk about one movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you have to talk about the rest. I mean, they're all connected, for better or for worse. So,
it's true.
Like we said, Joss Whedon's gone, but like you said, Nancy, for better or for worse, he's kind of outgrew the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or it outgrew him, more precisely. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what he does next. I like to see him do something original,
Yep.
Actually, if I really had to say, I was kind of joking about it, but I really would like him to go to DC. maybe do Wonder Woman, or, I like Zack Snyder, but maybe Justice League.
Well, they could really use him there.
Yeah. Indeed. I mean, I 100% agree. 100% agree. So, I don't know. I mean, that is kind of DC's MO, though. They're like, hey, you were on Marvel, we'll come over to DC. I mean, they got Ben Affleck. They got Daredevil playing Batman.
Right.
They got all kinds of stuff like that going on over there. So, I would not be surprised if maybe not directs, maybe he writes. Maybe he writes a movie for DC or something. Like he gets his foot in that pool in some capacity. But he has great original stuff, and that's what he became famous for: creating his own content and making it. So unfortunately, I think the Firefly universe is kind of books closed on that. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Serenity 2, maybe.
No, you again, more lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
You can't recapture that.
Yeah. So
just move on.
Yeah, but so that's Age of Ultron. We liked it, didn't love it. It was good, not great, but it served its purpose, and it didn't really. I mean, it upset a lot of people for some reason. So it's upset a lot of unreasonable people looking to hate on stuff. Basically,
I definitely agree with that.
I mean, it sounds like I hated on it. I don't know. I sound like I was hating on this movie too much.
No. I think it's just.
Well, you hate on everything, so it's kind of hard for me to tell.
I especially hate on Arrow because Arrow sucks. But please continue.
We're frustrated because it had to serve so many different masters.
I'm sorry, Nancy,
that it really was the poorer for that.
Yes. When it didn't have a true focus. I think the universe overtook the individual story of this film, much like Iron Man 2 situation, but pulled off much better.
Right.
I mean, this is not, like we said, this is in our top range. I mean, of Marvel movies. It's not bad. It's not, like I said, it's not Iron Man 2 is not at the bottom. Well, okay, Iron Man 2 or 3,
For
Nancy.
your list.
Iron Man 2 or 3, Nancy, real quick. Which one?
What do you mean?
Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3? Which one's better?
Better?
Yeah. Which one's not as bad, I should say.
Ooh. Well, are we talking overall?
I'm talking just as movies, Iron Man 2
as
or Iron
movies?
Man 3.
I feel like Iron Man 2 is better than Iron Man 3.
Absolutely. I was real down on Iron Man 2 until Iron Man 3 came out. And I'm like, it's not so bad, is it?
The reverse happened.
Yeah.
But then I thought but if we were ranking just Tony moments from a pure fan perspective, there'd be a lot of stuff from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, because he was only Tony Stark and not Iron Man in that movie, yes.
Yes, and I loved that about Iron Man 3, but I was super pissed about everything else.
The Mandarin? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That just
It's really
took me
bad.
out of it. Yeah, that was awful.
To quote the movie itself, yes, it's embarrassing. So.
Yep.
Boom.
All right,
That's
guys. Well, on that note, it's been fun talking about Age of Ultron. If you want to join the conversation, add us on Facebook at Nerds Explain It All. Find us on Twitter at Nerds Explain. You can email us at nerdsexplainitall@gmail.com. We've been lax on this, but actually we do have some listener feedback that we'll get to in our next episode I want to read, which is kind of fun. Yeah. So we'll get to that. But we're already way over on our time tonight. But much like Joss Whedon, we're way over on our time. So Nancy, if people want to find you on the internet, where do they go?
You can find me yelling into the void on Twitter at Dasmoosh, DASMOOSH.
And Lance?
You can find me at Sir Lance Laster.
And you can find me, Zach, at Guardian of Forever. It's the number 4 ever. So hopefully Harlan Ellison will not sue me because he's been known to do that. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening in. Stay tuned for our next episode. We're going to talk about the Tim Burton Superman Lives movie. There was a documentary that's coming out this summer. We got to go to an early screening of it. It was very interesting. We have a lot of cool things to say about it, so stay tuned for that. Mm-hmm. And remember, guys, we don't break the news, but we do break it down.